My name is Emily. I've been married to David for 7 years. We have a beautiful home, a little boy in elementary school, and from the outside, we look like the perfect family. David works hard, he gives us everything, and I stay home, taking care of our son, the house, and myself. But there's something no one knows, something I never thought I'd do. It started with a massage, and it changed everything.
Chapter 1, The First Time. I'm writing this because I can't keep it inside anymore. I feel like I'm split in two. The woman I thought I was, and the one who just did something she never thought she would. Maybe if I tell it here, to strangers, I'll stop feeling like I'm going to throw up every time I look at myself in the mirror. It happened yesterday. I cheated on my husband with my massage therapist. I'm sitting here now, wrapped in my bathrobe, hair still damp, the faint scent of lavender oil clinging to my skin. My son is asleep upstairs. My husband is in his office finishing up another late-night call. Everything looks normal. Nothing feels normal. We've been married for 7 years. He's perfect on paper. Successful, gorgeous, generous. He works harder than anyone I know. Built a life from scratch, climbed the ladder rung by rung, and gave us everything we could ever need. A beautiful home in a safe suburb, a shiny kitchen I barely cook in, a closet full of clothes I bought just to keep feeling new, a son we both adore. And I broke it. But I need to start at the beginning. Or maybe not the beginning of us, but the beginning of this ache. It's been growing in the quiet places. The missed texts, the way he half listens when I talk about our son's drawings or the new curtains, the way he kisses me on the cheek like I am his assistant, not his wife. I used to think we were still in love, just tired, just busy, that this was what marriage looked like after a while. But it's not just routine, it's distance. And I kept trying to fill that space with smoothies and Pilates and skincare routines and books I never finished, with matching pajamas and perfect Instagram smiles. I tried so hard to be the ideal wife, the graceful mother, the polished woman who had it all. And then I met Tom. He came recommended by a friend, the best in-home therapist in town. My back had been tight. Stress, I said. Maybe resentment. I booked him for a Tuesday afternoon while my son was at school and my husband was, as usual, buried in conference calls. The first session was normal, professional, quiet. He had good hands. Strong, warm, steady. He didn't flirt. He didn't ask personal questions. I liked that. He felt safe. He came again the next week, and the next. It became part of my routine. A little luxury. A little self-care. Just an hour where someone touched me, gently, intentionally. I didn't realize how long it had been since I'd been touched. Yesterday, something shifted. I don't know what flipped. Maybe it was the way he asked how I was, and I heard something genuine in his voice. Maybe it was how my body betrayed me when his hands pressed just below my shoulder blades and my breath caught. Maybe it was the way he looked at me when I turned over, like he saw a woman, not just a client. I held his gaze too long. I shouldn't have. I said his name too softly. I don't remember exactly how it started. Just heat, breath, movement. My robe loosened, my lips found his, or maybe his found mine. I wish I could say I pulled away, that I froze, that I said no. I didn't. The massage table was forgotten. We ended up on the couch, tangled, quiet, urgent. And when it was over, I didn't feel like someone who had just made a mistake. I felt alive. That's the worst part. I didn't feel shame right away. I felt wanted, filled, not invisible, not fading into domestic perfection. I felt like my body still had power, still had meaning. Then, hours later, as I lay in bed next to my husband, that feeling curdled. I kept replaying it in my head, the way Tom touched my waist like it mattered, the way I whispered his name while everything inside me collapsed and rebuilt itself. I kept looking at my husband's back, wondering if he could sense the betrayal on my skin, if he could smell it. He didn't touch me that night. He never does anymore. I think that hurts even more now, knowing what being touched can feel like. Around 2 a.m., I got out of bed and went to the bathroom. I scrubbed my skin until it turned red. I tried to erase him. The scent, the feel, the image. But it wouldn't go. It had sunk deeper than skin. It was inside me now. I sat on the cold tile floor, knees pulled to my chest, and tried not to cry. Not because I regret it, but because I know this isn't over. And that terrifies me. I'm not planning to see him again. I think. I said that to myself today. Like a promise I didn't believe. I paid him, like always, full rate, even though the massage ended 20 minutes in and the rest was not what I booked. I don't know if that makes it better or worse. Maybe it makes it transactional. Maybe it makes it unforgivable. I still love my husband. I think I do. But I can't remember the last time I felt his love on me, around me, not just in words or texts or quiet acknowledgments. I needed more. And now I've opened something I don't know how to close. I'm writing this because I needed to tell someone, because I can't tell him, because I still don't know if I want to stop.
Chapter 2. The Lie Between Us.
I told myself I wouldn't see him again. That morning, I wore a white blouse and made blueberry pancakes for my son. My husband had already left for the office, early, as usual. Another investor call, another breakfast missed. The house smelled like syrup and coffee. Sunlight poured through the windows, and everything felt still. Too still, like I'd broken something sacred, and the silence was a punishment. And yet, under the table, my legs ached. Not from cooking, not from standing, from him. From yesterday, from what we did. I cleaned the kitchen like I was trying to erase something. I scrubbed until the granite gleamed, vacuumed twice, even reorganized the spice rack. I told myself it was just nerves, but it wasn't. It was shame, crawling under my skin, coating everything. Then, at 11:12 a.m., I opened my phone. I didn't plan to. I wasn't waiting. But his message was already there. Hope you're okay. Let me know if you need to reschedule next week. It was neutral. So neutral, it hurt. As if nothing had happened. As if he hadn't made me come undone just hours ago on the couch I picked out with my husband. I stared at the screen for a long time, fingers trembling, heart loud. Same time Tuesday? He replied a minute later, a thumbs up emoji. That stupid, casual emoji almost made me cry. The rest of the week, I played the role I'd perfected. School drop-offs, Pilates, a dinner party with neighbors. I smiled. I laughed. I wore lipstick and asked about other people's kids. I packed lunches and folded laundry and scheduled a dentist appointment. I said, "I love you," to my husband when he left in the morning, because that's what I always do. But it was all pretend. I was floating above myself, watching a version of me I didn't recognize. She was graceful, organized, composed, but hollow. So hollow. Every time I saw my husband, I wondered if he could tell, if there was something in my eyes, a shift in my voice, if he noticed the way I pulled away a little faster from hugs or smiled just a little too hard. He said I seemed happier lately, more glowy. "Are you working out more?" he asked one night, folding his laptop shut as I poured wine. I laughed, lied, said yes, but I wanted to scream, "No, I'm not working out more. I'm sinning more, and apparently it suits me." I hated myself in those moments, hated how easily the lies slid out, how my smile felt natural, like muscle memory, like I'd rehearsed it. And then Tuesday came again. I waited by the window like a schoolgirl. When he rang the bell, I let him in without a word. He didn't say much either. We didn't need to. It was all in the way I opened my robe, in the way he didn't even set up the table this time. We didn't pretend. Not anymore. There was no massage, just touch, breath, need. Afterwards, I wrapped myself in a towel and stared at myself in the mirror. My lips were swollen, my skin flushed. I looked ruined, but not broken. I paid him again, same as before. I handed him the money like it meant something, like it turned it into a business transaction instead of what it really was, betrayal wrapped in lavender oil. Later, I made pasta for dinner. My son talked about school while I stirred the sauce. My husband came home, kissed me, and asked if I had a good day. I said yes, and meant no. I don't know when it stopped being a one-time mistake. Maybe it never was. Maybe some part of me knew the first time I looked at Tom that way, the first time I leaned in, that this was a door I wouldn't be able to close. I try to rationalize. I tell myself my husband is never around, that I'm lonely, that I'm human. But that doesn't excuse it. It doesn't undo it. It doesn't make it right. Some nights I lie awake beside him and wonder if he knows. Not because he acts like he does. He doesn't. He's still kind, still loving in his way. But I wonder if there's a part of him, buried deep, that feels me drifting. I've caught him watching me sometimes, a flicker of something in his eyes. Not suspicion, sadness maybe, confusion. I want to tell him. I almost do. But then I remember what's at stake. Our son, our home, the life we built. And the lie wins again. I live between two versions of myself now. The one who folds laundry and kisses boo-boos, and the one who opens her legs for someone else every Tuesday. I hate them both.
Chapter 3: Tuesdays and Oils. I used to love Tuesdays. They were my quiet space, a pocket of solitude between school runs and dinner prep, a time for yoga, face masks, maybe a walk around the lake with a podcast in my ears. I used to savor them. Now I dread them and crave them. The anticipation crawls into my skin on Monday night, thick and electric. By Tuesday morning, I'm already dressing for it. Not for him, not exactly, but for what I've become around him. It's not about love. It's not even about lust anymore. It's about need. A chemical reaction I can't stop, no matter how filthy I feel after. Tom always texts first. Just one word. Today. And every time I pause, just a second longer than I should, before answering, yes. He arrives at 1 p.m. sharp, always smells faintly of cedar and something clean, clinical. He doesn't bring flowers or say anything romantic. He just nods, enters, sets up the table like this is still a massage, like we're pretending. But neither of us is pretending anymore. Sometimes we skip the table entirely. He'll push me against the wall, one hand on my throat, the other under my robe. Other times it's slower, methodical. He'll undress me piece by piece, kiss my stomach, my thighs, leave no inch of me untouched. And I let him do all of it. Like it's a ritual. Like my body belongs more to him in that hour than it does to me the rest of the week. I don't moan like I do with my husband, because I don't moan with my husband. Not anymore. I've forgotten what we sound like when we're intimate. I've forgotten if we ever were this hungry for each other. After, I lie there in a heap of limbs and sweat, trying to steady my breath while the room spins around me. Tom doesn't cuddle. He wipes down the table, packs up his oils, and leaves. Sometimes we don't even speak. It's like we both know that words would break the spell and make it all real. I always pay him. That's the part that hurts the most. I keep cash in a drawer near the kitchen, crisp bills tucked behind a bottle of wine we never opened on our anniversary. I hand them to him like clockwork. $140. Every time. Whether he massages me or not, it's my way of keeping the lines clear, professional, detached. But it doesn't work. Nothing's clear anymore. Once after he left, I stood in the shower for 45 minutes. Hot water, scalding my skin, trying to scrub him off. But no matter how hard I tried, I could still feel his fingerprints on the backs of my knees, the ache between my hips, the shame behind my ribs. And then I dried off, put on a clean dress, picked up my son from school like nothing had happened. He told me he painted a tiger. I smiled, told him I was proud, all while my underwear was still damp from another man. Some nights, when my husband is working late, which is most nights, I sit on the couch with a glass of wine and wonder who I am now. I scroll through Instagram and see perfect wives baking with their kids, traveling with their husbands, posting anniversary tributes with hashtags like blessed life and soulmate. I feel sick because I used to be one of them. I used to believe it too. Now I lie to everyone, my friends, my husband, my son, but mostly, painfully, to myself. I'll stop next week. This is the last time. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just lonely. Each excuse is a rope I use to lower myself deeper into the hole. And the deeper I go, the more I forget what light feels like. I don't even enjoy it every time. Some Tuesdays, it's mechanical, routine, like brushing my teeth or folding laundry, like something I do because it's what I do now. But then there are days where I can't stop shaking, where I feel like my body is on fire and he's the only one who knows how to put it out. One afternoon, as he was getting dressed, I asked him if he ever felt guilty. He looked at me for a long second, then said, "Do you?" I didn't answer, because if I had opened my mouth, I think I might have screamed. My husband still says I look amazing lately, that I seem lighter, more relaxed. I told him it's the yoga and the protein smoothies. He believed me, or maybe he just wanted to. One night, he reached for me in bed. I panicked. I kissed him, but it felt wrong, like cheating on Tom with my own husband. I hated myself for that thought, hated that it even existed. But it's the truth. And every Tuesday, I add another lie to the pile, folded neatly, like the cash in my drawer.
Chapter 4. Her Little World. I live in two worlds now. There's the world people see, the smiling wife with perfect hair, the devoted mother who volunteers for school art night, the woman who keeps her home spotless and her fridge stocked. Friends tell me I look radiant lately. My neighbors said I seemed lighter, almost glowing. I laughed, thanked her, pretended it was the yoga. Inside, I felt like a ghost. Then there's the hidden world, the world that lives in my skin, my pulse, my sheets, the one that smells of lavender oil and sweat, where Tuesdays stretch into forever. That world is dangerous, forbidden, intoxicating, and it's swallowing me whole. I thought I had mastered the balance, that I could compartmentalize, keep my lies folded neatly like the cash I leave on the counter. But last week, everything cracked. It started with my husband. He came home earlier than usual. I'd set the table like I always do, another routine dinner. But when he walked in, he wasn't carrying his laptop. He was carrying flowers. Actual flowers. Red tulips, wrapped in brown paper like something from a market in Paris. He smiled at me, not distracted, not tired, but warm, present. It startled me more than if he had shouted. "I thought we could have a night in," he said, setting the flowers down. "Just us." He poured wine, lit candles, even put on music, soft jazz, the kind we used to dance to in our tiny apartment before we could afford this house. My hands shook as I served the pasta. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, for an announcement, a confession, something. But it was just dinner. Romantic, deliberate, tender. And then he touched me. It wasn't the distracted kiss on the cheek I'd grown used to. He slid his hand over mine, his thumb tracing circles on my wrist. My heart slammed in my chest. When he leaned in and kissed me, really kissed me, I froze. For a second, I saw Tom. But then my husband's tongue pressed against mine, hungry, insistent. And I realized I wanted this too. Him. Us. All of it. One thing led to another. The wine, the music, the look in his eyes. Like he was seeing me for the first time in years. He pulled me into our bedroom, shut the door, and suddenly we were teenagers again. Clothes on the floor, hands everywhere, laughter breaking through kisses. It wasn't polished or careful. It was raw, urgent, real. My husband made me moan in ways I thought I'd lost forever. I came undone beneath him, and for the first time in so long,
I wasn't thinking about Tom. But later, lying in his arms, I felt the guilt rise like bile, because now I wasn't just betraying my husband with Tom, I was betraying Tom with my husband. My secret, twisted logic had shifted. Before, at least, it was one-sided. Now I'd blurred the lines. Now I wanted both. The next morning, my husband kissed me goodbye with a grin. "We should do that more often," he whispered. My body flushed with both warmth and terror, because I knew Tuesday was coming, and Tuesday meant Tom. When Tom arrived, I tried to cancel. I opened the door and stammered something about being busy, about rescheduling, but he stepped inside anyway, his presence filling the room, his eyes locking on mine. He touched my chin, tilted my face upward, and kissed me. My knees buckled. Within minutes, I was on the couch again, nails in his shoulders, whispering his name like a prayer. Afterwards, when he left, I sat in silence, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the walls. The house felt too quiet, like it was listening. My son's toys were scattered on the floor, innocent and bright, a reminder of the life I was supposed to be living. And all I could think was, I want both. I can't have both. I'm gonna lose everything. The shame eats me alive. I can't look in the mirror without seeing two versions of myself, the mother and wife, and the adulteress who can't stop. Some nights I wake up sweating, convinced my husband knows, that he smells it on me, that he's only pretending not to see because he doesn't want to break us apart. But then he touches me again, and I want him. And when Tom texts, I want him too. It's like my body belongs to two men now, and my soul belongs to neither.
Chapter 5. The Choice. I don't know how long I can keep living like this. Every day feels like a performance, a balancing act on a wire that's getting thinner, sharper. Every lie cuts me a little deeper, but I keep telling them, to my son, to my husband, to Tom, to myself. And yet, I can't stop. Some days I convince myself I'm strong enough to end it. I look in the mirror and rehearse the words, "This was a mistake. I can't see you anymore." I imagine myself closing the door on Tom and walking back into my life like nothing happened. But then Tuesday comes, and when the doorbell rings, my body betrays me. My hands shake, my stomach flips, and I let him in. Every single time. I'm addicted. Not just to him, but to the escape. To the version of me that exists only in his hands. To the way my husband's touch suddenly feels sharper, more alive because of the secret I'm carrying. To the danger, the duplicity, the thrill of almost being caught. But this week, everything shifted. It started small, a wave of nausea in the morning before coffee, a dull ache in my breasts, tiredness that clung to me no matter how much I slept. I brushed it off at first. Stress, maybe. Too much wine, too many secrets eating me alive. But then I missed my period. The realization struck like lightning. I stood in the bathroom, calendar app open on my phone, my heart racing. I counted days, then recounted them as if numbers could change if I stared hard enough. They didn't. They lined up perfectly with my lies. I told myself not to panic. I told myself there were explanations. But deep down, I already knew. And the terror that rose inside me was like nothing I'd ever felt. I bought a test the next day, slipped it into the bottom of the grocery bag, hidden beneath oranges and cereal. My hands shook as I paid, certain the cashier could see right through me. When I got home, I shoved it in the back of the bathroom drawer and told myself I'd wait, that I needed time, that I wasn't ready to know. But that night, while my husband slept beside me,
I couldn't take it anymore. I padded barefoot to the bathroom, the house dark and silent, every creak of the floorboards sounding like a confession. I locked the door, unwrapped the box, and stared at the little stick like it was a weapon. The longest 3 minutes of my life. 2 lines, clear, bold, no ambiguity. Pregnant. I sank to the floor, my chest heaving, tears streaming down my face. My mind spun through every possible scenario, every timeline. The dinners with my husband, the Tuesdays with Tom, the flowers, the couch, the bedroom, the hands, the mouths, the moments I told myself were harmless. And the question burned through me. Whose child is this? I pressed my palm against my stomach as if it might answer, as if it might whisper the truth. But it didn't. It just sat there, quiet, mocking me with its silence. My son stirred in his room down the hall. I heard him roll over, sigh in his sleep. My husband murmured something, half dreaming, turned onto his side. The house was still, but my world was collapsing. I thought of telling Tom, I thought of telling my husband, but the words caught in my throat, thick and suffocating. What would I even say? That I'm pregnant? That I don't know who the father is? That I'm a liar, a fraud, a coward? I can't. Not yet. So I sit here in the dark, the test clutched in my hand, the taste of bile in my mouth, my heart pounding like it wants to break free. And I write this to strangers because I can't say it out loud. I don't know how to stop. I don't know what comes next. I don't know whose child this is. All I know is what I've done, and that I can never undo it.
If you made it all the way here, thank you for listening. I know this was heavy. I know some of you are judging me, and some of you might understand. I just needed to tell someone. I couldn't keep it inside anymore. If you have thoughts, advice, or even just a reaction, please drop it in the comments. I need to know what people think, even if it's hard to hear. And if you want to hear more stories like this one, real, raw, messy confessions people usually keep hidden, make sure to like this video and subscribe. There are so many more voices out there, and you don't want to miss them.